This is Religion in the News, sponsored by Wish TV, in cooperation with the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis.
Good morning, Indianapolis. Welcome to Religion in the News. I'm J.R. Ryder, and joining me today is Jeffrey Payne and Charity McHugh. We have a great show for you today as our guests talk about a Christian leadership retreat, a home rehab ministry, and an upcoming summer festival. Stay tuned. Family, neighbors, and church members gathered to remember 6-year-old Andrew Fry with a candlelight visual just hours after the news of the Martinville murder charge verdict. 24-hour News 8's Phil Sanchez was there, and he spoke with the family members and friends.
At a candlelight vigil for 6-year-old Andrew Fry.
And I know that this is not a time to accuse or to blame.
An evening of prayer and pondering. Just what happened between the two boys.
They got along just fine, all normal, nothing out of the ordinary to suggest that anything would happen.
She's their aunt and wouldn't say much more than that on the boys' relationship or why the boys were home alone with a gun in the house.
I don't know how long they were gone. I cannot comment on anything like that. You know, it's hard. We all have our questions. We all want our answers.
But as the investigation unfolded last night, police were very careful with the words they used while talking with us late Thursday.
We're not ruling anything out at this point.
That's correct.
Meaning that it could be an accident.
Correct.
It could be intentional.
It could be anything.
They even waited a few hours for a search warrant to enter the home, and now we know why. That little blue house at the end of the block with a swing on the tree and toys in the yard was a full-blown crime scene.
I was crushed. I cried all night. My kids didn't know what was going on. It's hard.
And among those here to pay respect was Chance Jackson, the victim of another Martinsville tragedy, but tonight was about 6-year-old Andrew, the little boy who grew up just a few yards away from a church, the little boy who on Thursday night went to a better place.
My guests are here to talk about empowering Christians through Via de Cristo. I have Jim and Lynn Ryan. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
Now, my understanding is Via de Cristo is a Spanish term meaning way of Christ. Tell me about what the purpose of Via de Cristo is.
Well, Via de Cristo is a 3-day retreat for Christians to get to know Jesus better, to improve their relationship with Him, develop community with other brothers and sisters in Christ, and then go back to their own churches and communities and spread God's love.
Very good. What now? How is this personally? I know you have quite a story that that you are going through or have been going through. How has this personally impacted you?
Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in December. I've been through chemotherapy. I had surgery in May, and I start radiation on Tuesday.
Wow.
And being involved in these weekends, we did our first weekend in 2002, and then I've been involved helping out in a number of retreat weekends through that, and it has strengthened my faith and helped me deal with that, as well as just connected me with so many brothers and sisters in Indiana and Kentucky, and their love and support and prayers have just really helped give me strength through this.
Now, is it, I guess, a retreat both husbands and wives can attend? Who typically attends the retreats?
Well, our format, we run weekends both for men, for women, and we also do a co-ed weekend where either a couple or a single man or woman can attend. Separate tables for discussion, separate sleeping areas. But so we try to accommodate what works best for the individual.
Now, have you always gone together as husband and wives as far as wanting to attend, or did one of you start before the other?
Jim attended the men's weekend, and then I attended the women's weekend that was the following weekend.
Okay.
And we have served together, but we have also served separately on men's or women's weekends. So.
Now, did you find out about this through your church, or how did you come across the Via de Cristo?
A friend at church urged us to consider, kept urging us to consider, and eventually we felt that nudge to say yes.
What's the history behind Via de Cristo? I know it's a pretty interesting, where it started and originated from.
Well, the Via de Cristo migrated as part of what was called a Cursillo, or three-day movement. It originally came to the United States from Spain in the late 1950s. It was a means to empower, re-energize people about their faith. From coming to Mexico in the late 50s, it migrated its way north. The Via de Cristo itself, I believe, held weekends in Iowa and Florida somewhere in the 1970s. And then, much like popcorn, it seems to move around a pastor, goes from point A to point B, is excited about the movement, takes the concept and wants to hold a weekend there. Somebody who attended, such as Lynn or I, if we left Indianapolis, we certainly go to the community where we next land and want to share that good news with our friends.
Now, how do you find out more information about it? How much does it cost? And I'm sure our viewers want to know. It sounds like an awesome program and a retreat to really help, I guess, empowering you and giving you a deeper walk. But what if somebody wants to find out more information?
Well, we have a website, which is inkyvdc.org, and you can go to the website and learn more information. Cost of a weekend, it costs about $100, but the way has been paid for by people who have gone before. So if you want to attend a weekend, we would only ask that you pay it forward if you can afford to. And we've had people who can right now write the check, and we've had other people who send in, $5 or $25 over time as they are able. And if they can't afford to pay, God's love and grace is free. So
sure,
Amen.
We have people who will pay for it.
Now, where are the weekends? How often are they held, or where do you host the weekends? Are they across the country, is what you have stated? Or they have some local, if somebody from Indiana wanted to attend?
Our group in Indiana, Kentucky, will hold generally 3 weekends in the spring and 3 in the fall. So coming up this fall, we'll be using a camp just outside of Anderson for a men's weekend, the second weekend, I believe, of October, a women's weekend, the third weekend of October, and then we'll do a co-ed weekend down at Camp Lakeview, just outside of Seymour, Indiana, the first weekend of November.
Very nice. How many people can attend at one time?
We have a maximum of about 36 participants, but then there are a number of people, we call them on team, but they're people who have attended a weekend before and kind of serve on staff, cooking and giving talks and leading discussions.
Now, I asked her how it impacted her life. I'm curious how it has impacted your life.
Well, it's a life-altering experience. It's beginning to realize, both that you're worthy of God's love, that you're called to a purpose beyond, just the day-to-day living. So, for me, it was an eye-opening experience, one that made me want to give back.
I can understand that. Well, it sounds like an awesome program, and I really appreciate both of you taking your time out to come and share your story, and I wish you the absolute best in your journey. And, with the leadership group and putting the message out there, I think that's awesome. So I greatly appreciate it. And again, if you will give the information one more time, so if information people want to go, they're welcome to do, and I know we're also having that on the screen as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charity. Coming up next, my guest talks about a home rehab outreach to local communities. You'll hear that story next when we return.